Oh, shoot, my phone. That makes me look so terrible. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today I wanted to talk about something that I feel like needs to be discussed more. About a character that I feel like everybody just kind of ignores. But this character really does make a difference in the world of Harry Potter. Without him, a lot of the plot wouldn't exist. And I'm of course talking about Sirius Black. He's always, well, not always, but for a while, he's been my favorite Harry Potter character. And I feel like a lot of people disagree with me. But I feel like they ignore all the great things about Sirius and they only look at the bad. Now, this might not be true to all people because of the Marauders and all the love that they've been getting over the past few years and everything, but I feel like there's a lot of people that don't like Sirius Black because of what he did as a child or as in his Hogwarts years. But I feel like this is a little bit too harsh to go over. Sirius was only a kid and he was in a family, like, he didn't have the best home life, and I just feel like it's not the very best thing to do is to, like, judge people because of this. And not only that, but he was just such a great friend and such a great godfather. You can look and compare him with Draco all you want, but there's a few things that you need to remember. Draco never had a character arc. He never did the right thing, and Sirius did. Draco did defend Harry and everything, but since J.K. Rowling didn't give him a character arc, we're going to go over the character. Like, we're going to, if people want to compare Draco, then I'll give you my reasons of why he's really not a good character. And I know there's going to be a lot of, hate and saying, well, Draco just had a bad home life. And that might be true, but I feel like there was no, textual evidence of this. Did it ever say that Draco was abused? And did it ever say, in any way that Draco's parents didn't care about him? Because if we read those books, if you read Deathly Hallows, you'll realize that his parents do care for him. And I feel like people ignore the fact of, they either love to remember or ignore the fact that Narcissa Malfoy defended and kept Harry's secret that he was alive because he told Narcissa that Draco was still alive. And I feel like this is just things that people overlook because they want to make Draco just this just person that had a bad childhood, so it makes up for all the bad things that he did. And that's not how it works. Someone can do bad things, and someone, if they live in a bad environment, and there can be some reasoning behind it, but it doesn't excuse everything that they did. They still did those choices accordingly, and so did Draco. And yes, Sirius did do those things as a kid, but what matters is what he did later on in life. Because Sirius did everything for his best friend and for his godson. Sirius lived off of rats for Harry. He did everything for him, and that is why I love Sirius. Because of his determination to help this child who's been through so much trauma. And even though he's on the loose, he does everything for Harry. He constantly worries about this kid that he hasn't seen in 13 years, or 12 years if you look at The Prisoner of Azkaban. And it's just I don't understand why people are only going to look at the bad. What about all the good things he's done? And take Order of the Phoenix, for example. Harry went into the Department of Mysteries, and Sirius knew the risk it would be on his life if he went. He knew he could die. He knew that he could be locked up in Azkaban, which is probably one of his greatest fears. I like to think his greatest fear is losing Harry, which it probably would be. But anyways, he went there knowing the risks, and he did it for Harry, and he died. And yes, it really did take a dramatic effect on Harry, but it was totally worth it because to me, it's a precious thing, and you don't see that because of how upset you are that Sirius died. Well, if you care about Sirius anyway. And but as you really start to analyze the situation, you realize how great of a character Sirius Black is. And I feel like Sirius is very rated because most people like Draco. Yes, and I know you're probably like, man, she really doesn't like Draco. And yeah, he's not my favorite by any means. I mean, he's a pretty interesting character, I feel like. But I feel like people only like Draco just because of the actor that played him in the movies, Tom Felton. I just feel like people don't like Draco's actual character. They just like the person that plays Draco, which is also one reason why I'm really excited for the Harry Potter reboot and hoping that Harry will actually be more loved than Draco this time around. And people won't just make Draco the sweetheart and make Harry this evil monster. Like, because I am always on YouTube and I see these edits where it's like they make Harry the bad guy. And it's like, but they make Draco like this sweet human being and it just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, getting way off topic here. Sirius and like Harry's dynamic, I think, is what really makes like Sirius's character the greatest. Like, if Sirius wasn't what he was to Harry, if he didn't have as much respect for Harry as he did, I don't think Sirius would be my favorite character. Because the reason Sirius became my favorite character was because of fan fiction. And yes, I know fan fiction isn't reliable, and I know it's not real. Obviously, it's fan made. But I feel like it kind of made me see things that I hadn't really like thought about before. And I thought that these fan fictions were really well done. I felt like they really showed the care and the love that Sirius had for Harry. And I think that's why I really started to love Sirius and every time I read something between the two of them, I just feel this connection. And I just feel like we didn't get enough scenes with them. And I feel like Sirius would have been there to the last book. People would have loved Sirius so much more, and it makes me so mad that J.K. Rowling was like, yeah, we're just gonna have him die. It'll be fine. No one will miss him. And it's the fact that she was gonna kill Ron and Half-Blood Prince that really gets me. If you didn't know, she was gonna kill him when he was poisoned by Slughorn's mead. If you didn't know that, I'm sorry. J.K. Rowling just has a thing for killing off the best characters, okay? Like Dobby? Tonks? Oh wait, they're all killed by Bellatrix, my least favorite character. But we'll get into that in another video because that's giving me ideas and I want to go over that. But I just feel like the thing that really makes Sirius such an empowering and different character from all the other Harry Potter characters is that he's more determined than almost any other Harry Potter character except for probably Harry. He has so much determination and like care for this one person when he literally could just be afraid and not do anything because he's scared of going back to Azkaban, but he is willing to risk his actual soul for this kid he's only seen a few times in his life. And that is just so beautiful. And let's not ignore the fact that Sirius went out of his way as a student at Hogwarts to help his best friend get over his werewolf problem. He was willing to endanger himself so that he could be with Remus on the full moon. He was willing to take the animagi potion for Remus. And he knew how hard and difficult it was, but he was willing to do all of that for Sirius. And that's why I respect him. And I know James was a part of it too, but I'm also looking at Sirius in this video, which James is a great character. It's just like Sirius, he does have a bit of a problem. We don't see enough of James for a lot of people to enjoy him. But anyway, and I just feel that people, like I said, they just ignore all this and they think, Sirius was bad to Snape. And they defend Snape because of Snape's story. And I sort of get that. Not really. I think Snape is just a creep myself. But, like, what about Snape? He bullied students constantly. And he's a full man. He's a full-grown adult. And he's here bullying Neville Longbottom and Harry Potter. He scared and bullied Neville. I was going to say tortured, but that's not the right word. He bullied Neville to the point that Neville's greatest fear was Snape. And Neville is a kid that is afraid of so much. For Neville's greatest fear to be Snape is just, like, heartbreaking. And people just ignore that because Snape had a crush on Harry's mom. Okay, so what? And, like, to me, the way that he loved Lily really was just kind of creepy. And it's just like, you're gonna get mad at Sirius for being stupid as a kid, but you're gonna forgive Snape, a full-grown adult, for bullying Harry and Neville the way he did, and Hermione. Not really Ron as much, but he was still pretty rude to Ron. But he bullied these kids like they were nothing, like he was above them just because he was older, because Harry was James's son and Neville was dumb and Hermione was a mudblood, like a muggle born like Lily, and she was smart and actually had brains. I don't understand like why he was like this, and I get that he was like traumatized by Lily's death and everything, but that gives him no excuse to do what he did. Even Dumbledore, who defended him, I don't think really likes Snape that much. I've seen videos on YouTube and I'm convinced. And it's just like, why? Why can't you just forgive what James and Sirius did if you're willing to forgive Malfoy and Snape? And it's beyond me. What are we gonna do next? Forgive Umbridge and Bellatrix? We're gonna forgive Bellatrix for murdering Sirius and Dobby and Tonks? I don't think so. Oh yeah, and torturing Hermione, like, because she's cool. That's what I feel like the fandom is doing. They like people because of certain one trait that they have. And then there's some characters that they're kind of like not as interesting to people, and so they just don't like them because of the bad things they've done, when they have so many great qualities about them too. And like, and I feel like a lot of these people are movie fans, because movie fans don't know half of the story, and they think that they know so much about Harry Potter. I'm sorry, movie fans, if you're watching this, but I am speaking the truth. I don't think movie fans know enough about Harry Potter. I really don't. They haven't read the books. They haven't studied them countlessly. They've only watched the movies that are half reliant. They leave out super big, important details that change a whole perspective on a character. And it's that really shows Sirius's arc and shows his love for Harry. The movies show it, but they don't show enough of it for you to be convinced. Movies are very different because the next scene you totally just forget about it, but every scene in a book is very and vastly important. And you try to remember as much. And you can always go back in a book. And it's like in a movie, you're so amazed with other things going around that you totally just forget about certain things. And I feel like movie fans won't ever love Sirius as much as the book fans, because they don't know as much about Sirius and all the great things that he did, because the movies just didn't show it. They didn't show his love for James as a friend, obviously, but it didn't show that. He mentioned James like never. Like, he never mentioned James. And that was a whole big important part of Sirius's character. He mentioned him, I think, once in Prisoner of Azkaban. And it's like, and every book that Sirius is in, it's something with James or something related to him. Except for maybe the Deathly Hallows when he's in his ghost form. But everything else, Goblet of Fire, there's this moment when Harry explains the graveyard scene with James and everything, and how he saw him and Lily. Not there, whatever it's called. Anyway, and Sirius was just so, like, it's like his heart was melting when he heard that Harry had seen James in the graveyard. And I just feel like this is a moment that people just don't notice. It's something that I notice because of how heartbreaking that is to me and how interesting it is. And Rowling just always added in these little details that make my heart just melt with either sadness or happiness. And I don't know, people just totally forget that Sirius was friends with James, and everything he does is for James and Harry, and I just love it. And movie fans don't understand that because they've never seen it in their entire life. They don't see Sirius talking about James or anything. It's just like, oh yeah, he's my friend, or whatever. And they've totally wiped off the Animagi story about Lupin's backstory. That was pretty important. That really changed my perspective and probably a lot of other people's perspective on a lot of characters and a lot of things. And it made you see things and it made it more interesting and it made you realize more things about the Marauders that we didn't know before. Because you might not know this about me, but I read the books after I had watched the movies. So I didn't know a lot about Harry Potter, and that's why I say like movie fans don't know as much. It's not because I hate movie fans, it's just because I know that as I used to only read and only watch the movies, I didn't know half of the stuff, and I realized as I was reading the books how much they had taken out and how much of it I loved more than when I would just watch the movies. To when a lot of people are reacting to the Harry Potter movies on YouTube, they're always like, "Why is this happening?" And they're like, "It doesn't make sense," but it's because they haven't seen that part in the book that explains that, and it almost makes them look dumb. I'm not saying they're dumb. It's just like the movies almost make it too confusing because it leaves so much out. And I think, to be honest, this is why it's gonna be amazing having a reboot, which is totally not important and everything, but I just thought I'd mention it. And it's just, I don't know, it's hard knowing how much that Sirius was undertoned. They mentioned that Sirius ran away too in the movies, and I thought that was really empowering. That scene. That's like my favorite scene in the entire movie franchise when Harry talks to Sirius and he tells him how hard it is for him and how he feels like he's this terrible person. And it really makes you see how Harry and Sirius were in the books. And that is what I love about that scene. Even before I was a big Sirius Black fan, that was a scene that I would cry over. And I just loved it to pieces, and I still do. It makes you really see things, and it really makes you see how much Sirius cares about Harry. And that is a scene that I will forever cherish, whether the reboot is here or not. It is a scene that I will always be in love with. And I'm very, very excited for this reboot so that we can get more perspective on things that are going on. And I'm just so excited to see things happen all over again. I am excited to actually be a part of the wizarding world as something big happens. Because when the movies came out, I was born when Order of the Phoenix came out. And I wasn't there. I wasn't even there. Like, I didn't know what Harry Potter was until I was 9 years old. And so I'm really excited to embrace this. I'm really excited to just see what's going on, and just excited to have fun with this. This is gonna be such an empowering thing, and I'm excited to see what we missed out from Sirius Black. He was such an important, amazing character that can inspire people to never give up and to feel hope and to not give up and to care for people even when it's hard to take care of yourself. And he had so much to offer, and he had such a great relationship with Harry. It makes me I'm so mad at Rowling for her killing him off when she did. I think she should have personally waited till maybe Half Blood Prince or Deathly Hollows. I think she should have waited to Deathly Hollows. And I would have loved to see like Sirius in the Battle of Hogwarts. That would have been such an amazing moment, and I feel like Rowling should have kept him in, and I would love to see how he felt when Dumbledore died. Because Sirius did have a rocky relationship with Dumbledore in Order of the Phoenix, but obviously it would have been different when Half-Blood Prince came out. And by that time, Sirius would have been freed, and it would have been amazing. Which is another thing about Sirius. He had a tragic backstory, you know. He was in Azkaban for a third of his life. And people just forget that, and they don't think about this. They don't think about how long Sirius was in Azkaban. They think about what he did when he's 15 years old. And people need to forgive and forget. Because they forgive characters like Snape, then I expect them to forgive characters like Sirius. And Dudley. And Malfoy. And if they can forgive Snape and Malfoy and Dudley, they can forgive Sirius Black. Alright? Cool. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. It was a chaotic mess. I kind of rambled off, and I didn't give out a whole bunch of thoughts. I just kind of almost gave out my own opinions. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to talk about my favorite Harry Potter character. Now I'm going to be making another live stream and talk about my favorite Percy Jackson character, Nico D'Angelo. Anyway, I see you guys. I love you so much, and I hope you have a great day. You watch it on the day that you see this video, or like the day that it came out, or a completely different day. Whatever it is, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you kind of got some different views on Sirius Black. And if you want to hear more about other videos, or if you have some other video recommendations that you would love to give me, please comment them down below so that I can do them and make videos for them. I probably will be doing live stream because it doesn't take or involve any editing, which is very lazy, but I don't have the patience for editing unless it's like an actual edit. But anyways, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.